All right, hello, everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera of Diamond Rivera Films, and you are tuned into a very special episode of Live Discussions with Diamond. And here I have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Carlos Cinta.
Hey, Dr. Diamante, how are we doing?
I'm good, my brother, man. It's been too long, just with everything, all of this craziness going on. How you been doing thus far?
Doing all right, doing all right. Making the best of the situation, as possible. I actually enjoyed the whole quarantine thing because it gave me a time to really sit down and um, really go through a lot of just find other things that of interest and without any interruption. So there was a lot of time for that. So it was good. It was
No,
really
absolutely. I kind of feel the same way for myself. I've been able to kind of self reflect, and I think too a really important topic is mental health, and that's something very big. And I
yeah.
think especially for all of us, these past 6 to 8 months, close to not being in a dance setting like we're used to, it kind of
Right.
makes us reflect and see what's truly important.
Yeah, definitely.
And honestly, again, I appreciate that you can come onto the platform tonight. For me too, a lot of the artists, or really all of the artists that I have on, I really have seen the progression, the path, the journey, um, have been able to, especially yourself, watch you over the years, be in your classes, filming your demos, and just seeing especially how much your students are really in tune to your teaching. And I
Mhm.
think people have to also understand that as a teacher, it's not just about the hands on part of learning, but it's also the dissertation, the lecturing. And I
Yeah.
think that's something really special that you have a very unique gift of being able to connect with your audience, whether it's in a dancing setting or also just like a discussion setting,
Thank you. Thank you.
you
So
know?
I really attribute that to coaching. I coach American football,
Mm,
but also, I mean, just years and years of being a substitute teacher. Um, I think that translates into the dance setting, and that it's really just a different sport. You know what I mean? Teaching dance rather than coaching football or being a sub teacher. So yeah, that's where it comes from.
no, absolutely. I love that you kind of have that kind of brash approach, but an honest and full transparency
Yeah.
type of feel. So I definitely respect that. And again, I'm glad that we can come here today and just like have this one-on-one talk as well. But besides us, we'll be having guests who will be putting in their comments. So during our interview, you'll be seeing occasional comments coming right down as well. For example, my boy Rob Grisco, my guy Carlos,
Hey,
always love and respect.
my man, Big Grit,
Yes,
going on.
absolutely, absolutely. And honestly, Carlos, I think for many who can agree with me, a person like yourself comes around almost once in a lifetime in our community, in our dance community. And I mean that wholeheartedly because, especially seeing you over the years, how much you truly are invested in the dance community of not just teaching the hands-on approach and dancing approach and steps, but really focused on relaying the educational portion to it and being able to teach your students the counts and the music that goes behind that, especially when it comes to claves and etc. And for me, over the years, seeing that, I mean, that's something that's a rarity nowadays, or before pre-COVID when we were at workshops and congresses. And a lot of times you see our artists are just like they're coming and going. It's kind of you teach your patterns, you teach this, and you're moving on. But for yourself, I've seen over the years you've been able to have those blocks of almost 2 hours to teach some patterns, but also teaching the educational part.
Yeah. So uh, as you said, I'm 100% transparent always. Um, you got to know your strengths and weaknesses, right? So as a coach, the people that hear me say this are gonna laugh, but number one rule is know your personnel, right? Know who's on your team, what they can do, what they're good at, what they aren't as good at, the strengths and weaknesses. So, but you also have to
All
do a
right,
self now. Um, and so I know with myself, dancing wise, oh man, I'm like way at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like there's so
Mm,
many dancers that are way better than me, and I know that I can't. Not that I would, quote unquote, compete with that, but it's like there's no way I can do that. So I had to find job security in, I need to do something else that's going to be different, educational, fun at the same time, but also impact the dancers and how they hear the music and something they can relate to, which is just going to make them even better dancers. So in 2010, I came up with that the musicality system, the bachata breakdown, and again, it definitely changes the way that people hear the music. Because I always tell people, if you ever dance to a song that you hate, or a song that you just you're not feeling, and it's the longest 4 minutes of your life. But have you ever danced to a song that you really love? You start doing things you didn't even know your body could do. But it's you're not even thinking about it. It's the music just moving your whole entire being, and I think that comes from being able to hear or connect to the music. So when people say you can't teach feeling, well, I disagree with that 100%, because for me, at least in my opinion, my feeling comes from, oh, did you hear that? Oh my gosh. Oh, let's do this breakdown. Like just the feeling comes from the music. So if you could teach people to connect to the music, I believe you can teach people to at least have different feeling and then enjoy what they're listening to. And then the dancing will just take off from there. So,
Absolutely, absolutely, and even before we get more into that, I love to really have my artists kind of go all the way back to the beginnings,
all right.
because many of us know Carlos of in the workshops and socials, having a fun, good time, but also it's very important to know Carlos the human being and what was your life before dance was involved. So I definitely would love for you to kind of give us a an understanding of how it all really started and how dance kind of fell into your lap in a sense.
I'm looking for one. It's in the bag. Football, and more football. My everybody knows, when it's football season, Carlos, you're not going to hear from him. And I make the joke, that Wycliffe Johnson, I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone. So, but yeah, it's all, I mean, I'm a jock. I love sports. It's what I am, is what I do. You throw a ball around and I would love to just go chase it. I don't know why, but it's what I grew up doing. How dance, I guess fell into my lap really was in 2003. So again, I play college football. I come home, I graduate, I'm done, I'm working now. Meet a young lady 2003, and she dances everything, everything. She wants to go out on dates. Okay, cool, let's go. We go to Thursday night to a little club, and then I literally would be sitting. She would like leave me, and I would be sitting. I was basically the Uber driver there. I would be sitting on the couch or the chair or the bar or whatever, and she would literally dance all night long. Come back just to say hi, make sure her ride didn't leave her. Sweaty and smiley, and I'm just like, well, this is some hot garbage. I mean, what? So I decided to, take classes and learn how to dance. It took a couple months of classes, and then, yeah, that was really it. I just, and I kind of did it, guys. Look, I did it behind her back. I didn't let her know that I was taking classes because I wanted to surprise her on the dance floor.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, well, how'd you learn? Don't worry about that. That's not important. No.
Wait, question. How did you do you remember like your first teacher who kind of got you, got some moves going for you?
All right. So I took 1 month of salsa. I don't remember. I don't remember who the teacher was. 2 months of bachata with Nestor and Steve Day. They're in Latin Street Dance Academy in Chicago. Um, and then I took one private. I know her name, but I can't remember it. I'm looking right at her. Anyway, I took one private, and then knowing myself again, here we go with the more transparency. I don't really have much money, or I don't come from money, so I was like, wait a minute. I had this like bright light bulb moment. I was like, wait a minute. Everything everybody's teaching me. Sebastian, know your personnel. Yeah. So, I was like, everything everybody's teaching me, they either made it up themselves or they learned it from somebody else. So why can't I do that? And I promise you, from that day, I never stepped foot in another class ever. in my mindset, because again, from being a coach and playing, like I analyze everything. I analyze film, I break things down, I put it in slow motion. I was like, so really, as long as it can go to, and this is bachata, speaking bachata wise, as
Yes.
long as it can go to a 4 count beat, I can pretty much do whatever the hell I want to do. So from there, that was it for me, you know.
And you would say on again, I know we've also talked privately as well, understanding I think it was 2005 when you kind of saw yourself teaching.
Yeah. So in 2004, I would with a different lady, I practiced a lot of bachata because again, everybody was really into salsa, and it took me 2 months to figure out the crossbody. Yes, like literally 2 months, and I was like pissed off. So I was like, I'm done. Me and salsa broke up many a times. Um, so, so, so for me, bachata was just easier to pick up. Back then, at least theoretically speaking,
Yeah.
less technique, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and so I was like, well, let me just stick to bachata. Everybody was like really training for salsa. But I was like,
Yeah.
well, I want to be different in bachata. So me and my friend literally would practice all day, all night, a lot. And I would just come up with, a bunch of different turn patterns. We called it modern back then. May have a different meaning now, but back then that was modern. So this is 2004, 2005. When I would go out, I would go out with a couple of my buddies, my guys, and they're like, hey, show me how you did that. Show me how you did that. So it really just came. I just really saw it as coaching, So I would show them how to do the turn patterns in my grandma's basement, and then they told me, oh, you should teach with with our mutual friend Jill. I was like, oh, whoa, I'm not a dance teacher, I'm just making this stuff up. Like I don't know anything about dance. I didn't study it. I didn't do anything for this. But then she wanted to do half salsa, half bachata. She wanted to do what's up, Mel? She wanted to do half salsa, half bachata. So for the bachata part, I took over. For the salsa part, she took over. But then I started to enjoy it. You're meeting all walks of life. You're meeting different people, and people, just are really enjoying. Again, it's like dance was their escape. And so you just created bonds and friendships. And so I started to enjoy that. So that was 2005. 2006, I moved to San Diego, and then just going out dancing socially. I'm the fresh meat, the new face in town. And then just from there had opportunities. Shout out to Melissa, shout out to Angel with the Time to Dance Studio. They let me teach with them, and then this is 2007, and then the Green Mexico jersey video happens.
And I definitely want you to kind of give us more understanding on that, because like many dancers that I know, a lot of times it usually is a viral video
Yeah.
that kind of pushes them in a different level. And I definitely know that for you, you were one of those people that it happened to as well. So I would definitely love for you to give more like understanding and more info on how that all transpired.
Right. A 50 Cent line. This is God's plan, homie. This ain't mine. I never wanted to be a dance teacher. Like I just wanted to play sports. If it was up to me, you'd still be seeing me on TV right now, playing football. But it didn't work out that way. So at that time, 2005, 6, 7, nobody was there. There weren't many people doing quote unquote modern, which was, at that time, just basically turn patterns, what people, I guess, call modern to this day. And so I was just different, funny like they say, I stuck out like a hooker in church, So yeah, I was just different. And so true story. It was, what was that, like January 7th or something like that. I'm in San Diego. It was flag football. I still got a little bit left in the tank, and I can't give up the sport. So I literally played a doubleheader. I'm driving home. My guy Chris, that does the marketing for me. He calls me, hey, let's put a video up. This thing called YouTube. And I was like, what the hell is YouTube? And then so I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can find somebody to dance with. I'm driving home. I'm still like wrist tape in my football stuff, and I was like, well, all right, let's do it. So got home, took a quick shower, changed, called my friend. We went to the studio, and I'm like sore and tired, dehydrated. and we just bang it out one time, boom, one and done, film it, record it, out, and he just put it up on YouTube just to put it up. But never would we imagine that, so shout out to Juan Ruiz out in Sydney, Australia.
Mm.
He sent me a message, and we communicated for a little while back and forth, basically just, love the video, this, that, and the other. I was like, oh shit, Australia. I didn't even know where Australia was at the time. I was like, wow, I just know it's way down there somewhere. And then from there, we talk over the years, and then he invites me out to the bachata festival in Sydney. And I
Yeah.
was like, what do you mean a bachata? Like a festival? Like, what are you talking about, festival? What? I didn't even know these existed, but they were out there in Sydney, in other parts of the world too. But again, I wasn't really a dancer / in the dance scene. So to me, this was just a world that I never even knew of. And so, 2009, April 2009 is when I, first went over there international. And then from there, it just took off.
Mm.
Yeah. All from
And
the green
then,
Mexico jersey.
oh my God. And also realizing too, like you said, that having that Sydney connection, because myself talking to people like Nestor from
Yeah.
Sydney, realizing that how much of a role Sydney especially played into the progression or the culmination of festivals.
Right.
Actually having a festival, because most people would assume it to be in Dominican Republic or
Yeah.
the US, but
Right.
actually a place in Europe, and actually talking to yourself that you were there. I
Yeah.
really want to know too, like that experience of going to really the first bachata festival.
Um, I don't know what edition it was in Sydney. I can't remember. I know, and I'm almost positive that Tony Lara had some in the UK at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as far as so, I really only know Sydney and UK. The other ones, I don't know where they were at. Um, but again, this is still the beginning stages of festivals. What up, Ray Ray? But yeah, man, Sydney, I love it out there. The people, I mean, they're just warm. The Everybody was just so welcoming, and just wanted to learn and something different. Again, somebody from the States coming over, and the shout out to Derek EQS and the group Forever. They did a concert there, and I got to meet them, and that way I meet them. Through this festival, I met a music producer, I met musicians, and then the other artists, other teachers. Learned, saw my first kizomba class out there, 2009. Heard kizomba. I was like, what the heck is this? I like, because I'm about music. I love the music.
Yeah.
And then saw the dance. I was like, ooh, buddy. Little did I know in Europe, like this was a thing. So that just opened up my eyes to a whole brand new world. So yeah, man, Australia was a great time, just a great experience, great stepping stone for sure.
Yeah, I mean, from what I was told, I believe it was 2000, either 2009 or 2010. So kind of like you said, fast forwarding from the beginnings of your dance career, or I would say career, your journey into it, probably early 2000s, and now fast forward to 2010, going into this festival, which is the largest at that time and the only event at that time, I guess, because I heard it was over 1,000 people there at that event. But
Which one?
realizing then, kind of coming home, did you feel like, okay, now you can see that bachata slowly picking up that steam? But like you said, you had the additions of Ataca Alemana, then you had many other European groups start doing bachata. So then I would say Brown, maybe the 2012, 2013s, this is when Daniel and Desiree's were coming,
All
and
right.
different artists. And then what we started to see, I would say over the years, even currently still, was this kind of taking of what is bachata. And this is kind of being the resounding question many dancers have, but also it's people like yourself that have been really educating people on what bachata really is. Some people make it so complex, but for me, seeing you in your classes as well, teaching it, it's so simple. if,
Well,
if I can say it that way.
yeah. So like, what is bachata? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I mean, like, because that's the thing too. Because over the years, we always see that people are teaching patterns,
Mm,
teaching combinations in classes that are 45 minutes,
Mhm.
And you kind of many people leave out of there very refreshed and saying they learned something. But I think too, it's sometimes the simplistic nature of just understanding what bachata truly is, because sometimes people will say, oh, it's sensual, oh, it's modern, oh, it's traditional. I
Right.
mean, for me, my definition honestly is bachata, but I would love to just hear it from you.
So yeah, all right. So my thing is, what's up, Jose? Juju, my man. Yo. That's my guy right there. That's my man. Jew. So with bachata, I try to really emphasize to people that it's important to be bilingual, not English Spanish, but
Mm-hmm.
how to speak dance studio / Congress versus how to speak non-dance studio Congress. Basically the rest of the world, because in the rest of the world it's just bachata. It's bachata or it's not, musically and dancing. Within the scene, there's all the different subcategories and everything like that. And again, I think that is more for business purposes. It works. Um, but to me, I think, I also believe that in order to really understand something culturally, you need to be with the people. You need to be in the shit. You know what I mean? Like you need
Yeah.
to be there, not to say, okay, well, so you're saying if I don't understand it, if I don't buy a ticket to DR. No, I'm not saying that at all. But at least be open minded to the fact that, it's more than just dancing. It's culture. It's a struggle. It's heartbreak. There's bachata is so deeply rooted. There's history there,
Mm.
and I feel that within the scene, it's more now just a focus on like this. So people will count their way through songs rather than dance, feel, get emotional, things like that. They're counting numbers. And so my teaching style and my teaching method is to try to, again, I still count when I dance, so there's nothing wrong with that. But at least, hey, there's this whole other box of glass box of emotion, that needs to be untapped. Um, and just have an understanding, like where people are coming from, where people have been. Um, it's just deep. There's a lot of roots to it. So just having a broader understanding, I think, will at least open up people's eyes and just maybe change the way they think a little bit.
Absolutely, and realizing over the years when really bachata really started to become more popular and more mainstream.
Mm.
Fast forward from 2010 years later, now you're actually having U.S. bachata festivals. You're
Yeah.
actually having socials, congresses, weekenders, whatever you call it, and now you're seeing a influx of so many people who are instructors, so many performers. But I
Mm.
think what really sets many people apart is how much of the investment you're putting into your craft. And what I mean is, especially a lot of times now, you've seen pre-COVID was when even in the Dominican Republic, Las Arenas, that was a name I hear a lot of having the Dominican people really collaborate with the people from the U.S. and all over the
Yeah.
world of putting that education in. And I
Yeah.
think too, I would love to understand is what really made you want to become more aware and now really kind of separate? I think you kind of said it, but really separate yourself. Or what moment did you realize you wanted to separate yourself and really dive into the educational part
Right.
to give people that knowledge?
So that actually happened on accident too. 2000, go back to 2009 in
Mm.
Australia, but it wasn't in Sydney. So from that gig in April in Sydney, I got hired for the Byron Bay Festival in November that same year. Um, and so I was living in San Diego at the time. Sky Blue and again Juan, they run that event. And Sky hits me up and she's like, look, we're having problems with a salsa teacher right now. Well, getting a visa to come into Australia to teach musicality. Can you teach it? And I was like, well, again, like, hey, so I can't teach salsa musicality. No. She's like, no, but just teach something for bachata. So I was like, oh, I got a 15-hour flight. I'm sure I could think of something, but I've always heard music, in my opinion, I feel I've always heard music differently. And it comes from growing up as a kid, My mother, she's an artist, so she would always have easy listening, new age type music, Enya, Yanni, acoustic alchemy, things like that. We have all like the Cirque du Soleil soundtracks. So all of that music all the time would be in the house, and I liked it. And then I remember I would go to sleep with headphones on and just go to sleep, and just listen to the music so clear and everything. You can hear everything in front. You can hear all the one little noise, boop, in the way in the back. That one guy that has one. You just poop, hit something one time. You know.
Yeah.
Um, and so I feel that I've always heard music differently. And so on the flight over there to Australia, I was like, well, let me just try to at least maybe break it down. I had a little bit of inspiration from it was a DVD series. Salsa is Good, I believe is what it's called. Old, way back in the day, And again, this is when I was trying to buy DVDs to learn, bachata combos or whatever,
Hmm.
And then they had one little thing. It was like a little quick snippet. They just showed all the different instruments and everything, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can hear that. So I would say that was the seed that was planted in my head. Like, let me expand on this a little bit. So I taught a musicality class, um, and it wasn't as in depth as it is now because again, this was just something that I just had to kind of create on the flight, and I was actually surprised at the response that it got. So I was like, oh, let me try to continue doing this, because I would love for people to hear the music how I hear it, because I know a lot of times people, well, how do you hear that? And my response would always be like, well, how do you not hear that?
Mm.
So I was like a man on fire from that point on, and just really, tried to break things down and really understand, you know, how to teach it, how to make it relate to dancers. Hearing it is one thing, but now how do I apply it? And I can talk about that later on. Um, but so yeah, so I did that class 2009. Then February 2010, I'm at the LA Bachata Festival. I had a couple months to really like actually make a class out of it now. And then it was 2010 or 2011 when my buddy Harold Weeda, so he played a Weeda in the local band in San Diego. He's the person that made me fall in love with that instrument.
Mm.
Because every time they would play live, I would really just go for him. Like I care less about the singing. I could care about this. Like I just want to watch him sing. So we became really close friends. And then and one of the musicality classes in February in LA, I brought him. I was like, this is going to be dope. Like, let's bring a live musician in the workshop. And he just freestyled over Anthony Santos song. The video's on YouTube. I don't know what it's titled, but um, and then just seeing that response when people were like, oh my gosh, this is great. Cause how many people really pay attention to that and really nerd out with that type of stuff? Not too many, so it was just me in my geek mode. And I was like, yeah,
Hmm.
this is a thing. Let's continue to roll with it. Um, so yeah, the musicality was just born. I
That's
don't even know if
awesome,
I answered
man.
your question. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went down that rabbit hole.
But I love that to understand that again. It really just comes from the musicality aspect
Yeah,
and realizing that you being musically inclined or musically sound, you hear music differently,
yeah,
and that really kind of gives you that motivation to say, like you said, dive deeper into that rabbit hole.
yeah.
And I think definitely over the years that I've gotten to know you and seen you, honestly, my first sight or my first when I first saw you, not personally, but through a video was actually a video years ago. I believe you remember it was in a pool, and you were talking in a. I believe you were talking in a pool about bachata.
Where was it at?
This was like you were in a pool. I think it was just you by yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, that was when I first was like, wait, who? He's talking real spicy, but he's saying some factual stuff. But I'm like, I'm very intrigued because he just has a nonchalant
like
attitude, and
you're
it's
really
just
lucky. Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, you want to know how that came about?
absolutely.
Forgot about that. Because I was like, I'm thinking like a pool party. It's like, yeah, I really don't go to pool parties. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so that was over the 4th of July type thing. I was in Michigan at my cousin's house. Their neighbor had a pool, you know, like, and again, I'm like, when I see water, I'm a kid, you know, like a little kid. What's up, Bart? Um, so what had happened was, I cannot remember the dude's name. It was a Dominican guy. Never heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo. Again, I don't even think he's in the dance scene. Uh, Gosh. Anyway, just a random Dominican dude made a video, but really going at, I want to say it was Daniel and Desiree. Don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically saying, you know, like, this isn't bachata. You know, this is not how you dance bachata. Blah blah blah. And again, everybody's got their thing, whatever. So, you know, it's his culture, you know. So he was, and so the thing is, he also said, I'm not saying, well, he also said that he was not saying that was bad dancing. He was simply saying, this is just not how you dance bachata, you know. And then he goes, you know, hey,
Yeah.
because, you know, again, sensual and just what I guess normal basic step bachata is,
Yeah.
looks completely different. And to him, I again, assuming he's not in the dance scene, he'd never seen anything like that. So basically, to anybody that's never seen that, it's like, well, what is this? Not to say it's bad dancing. To him, it was not bachata. So he made the video. And again, he went after like the head of the snake in the sensual world at that time.
Yeah, I remember.
He went for the head. I was like, ooh. So the scene, there was a huge just outcry, just blasting him. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if people, you know, made a comment to Facebook, hey, take this guy down. You know, again, I don't know. But all of a sudden, this dude's profile's gone. Everything that he posted, like everything, he just vanished. And I was like, oh, wow. And, you know, I'm pretty sure if he made that video, he wouldn't be one to, there you go, Leo Nunez. You know, if he made that video, he's a barber. Anything else? Do you know the guy? Like, what? We bring him in. Not related to the scene. Demon knows the whole profile. If you want to know more about Leo, just contact me. It'll get you the guy's profile. So yeah, but you know, and I'm just reading on the comments, and everybody just on the scene is just, you know, unity and love, peace, joy, blah blah blah, bring everybody together, and they were just destroying the guy. And I was like, so I had to make the video like, well, hold on a second. You know, everybody is sticking up for their friends, you know, Daniel and Desiree, and again, I'm friends with them too. So everybody in the scene is sticking up for them, but Leo is just sticking up for his culture. He's sticking up for his people, for his country. You know, again, he did not say that they were terrible dancers, that they were this. He said they are good dancers. This just isn't, but this is not how you dance bachata. That's what he said. And then I was like, well, hold on. Like, if we're talking about unity and peace, love, and joy, you know, all that stuff, then why are we separating bachata rooms? Why is the Dominican room around the corner, down the hall, in the basement, you know, with a little Bluetooth speaker? Like, that's not promoting unity. So, you know, what are we talking about here? So, you know, again, I understood both sides, you know, the scene side, sticking up for their friends, you know, being able to express themselves, you know, and dance as an art form, et cetera, et cetera. But I also at the same time understood where Leo was coming from, where, and that's not how you do it. That's not. So, and then, yeah, I mean, like you said, spicy or not, is it factual?
Exactly. And meaning in a sense, like for me, what I loved was that just kind of the natural approach to it, of not you just doing the typical sitting here, having a microphone, having a setup, and having this long discussion, but really just being in your element and literally being like, yeah, this is what it is, and this is how it is, and if you like it, then okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. Kimmy Bear. So yeah, I was in the pool, you know, and then, you know, like I gotta get the rubber ducky, and, you know, I gotta get the goggles, gotta do it up a little bit. You know, you can't just be in water. Like, you know, get on the raft, you know, a little floaty, put on the arm floaties, you know, make it good.
Absolutely. And now kind of helps me now transition to a halfway point where we have the segment called the randoms, which is 10 questions, kind of giving me and the audience a little bit more understanding of yourself, kind of having some humorous questions here. And because you're a football fan, we do have a football question involved. Absolutely. So again, these 10 questions will help me and the audience learn a little bit more about you in a faster time. So please let me know when you are ready.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Absolutely. Number 1 is favorite food.
Oh, I'm a fatty man. I eat a lot. Gosh. I love the Caribbean food, so the Puerto Rican, Dominican. I love Mexican food. Basically, it's easier to mention what I don't like. I'm
Mm.
not a fan. I am very random. Extremely random. So this is right on my alley. I'm not a fan of Japanese food, only because I don't know. Like it's just I guess maybe being in the Midwest, I need to see like I need my meat well done. It's got a crunch. Sometimes when I bite into it, I need to see some burnt marks. Um, I do like empanadas. So yeah, yeah. Here we go. So olives, no. Orange, no. Uh, okra, no. Avocado, absolutely not. Onion, no. But really, but usually, other than that, I'm putting it in my mouth.
All right.
Yeah.
Next is, what is your favorite workout song?
Well, that I don't know. I really don't work out anymore.
Oh, we kind
but
of rephrase that
but
then. What
but
is like a go-to bachata song, especially if you're doing a class, like kind of informing the students on counts?
right,
What is like your go-to song?
hold on. So here's the thing. Now, I'm gonna go back to that workout. When I did work out,
Okay.
right? When I had my little group of four guys, that I was really training under and studying under. Oh, that's yeah, place in Chicago. Man, stop, Melanie. I'm trying to focus here. You guys talk about food. This interview is gonna go to shit. Um, so when we would work out, we would have like old school R&B. We would have Al Green, Isley Brothers, music like that. That fires me up. Like
Mm.
fires me up. And so to go back to the when I was playing football in high school, in my headphones before games, I would have Yanni, I would have the Cirque du Soleil soundtracks, and like the smooth jazz. Man, I'm telling you, like I get pumped for with that stuff. So and it's and then when I saw Russell Westbrook had one of those Sprite commercials about just be you, and he was saying, they say don't listen to whatever smooth music before a game or whatever, and he's just got some nice, just some nice chill music in his headphones. I was like, yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah. No, even Jordan had Kenny Lattimore.
yeah, exactly, stuff like that. I'm telling you, man, that gets me so jacked. And with the kids nowadays, just the stuff they listen to, and come on, man. Like, how does talking about a threesome get you excited to play football? Like, what are we missing? And not only that, but you're blasting it in the locker room. There's parents walking by, your little 2-year-old sister's walking, and they're talking about that. I was like, gee,
Oh my god.
what are you doing? Turn that off. But anyway,
The next one would
um,
be, wait. Wait, your favorite? Do you kind of have the song? Like, I know you have a multitude of artists, but is there like one song that just clicks right into your mind?
no,
All right.
because
Next one.
yeah, it's just extremely random. Whatever happens, I forget about a lot of music. People that DJ with me know that, or like I forget what I have in my computer, and they're like, oh, I forgot about that. And then somebody else will play like, oh yeah, that's the jam.
Mm. All
I
right.
don't remember.
Next one will be, what is your dream vacation destination?
There's a lot of places. I mean, of course, the easy answer would be Bora Bora. I've always wanted to go to Thailand.
Mm.
I miss going to PR. I haven't been there in years. When I got Juno, I used to go to his house all the time. Um, just somewhere where there's sun, there's music, there's food all over the place. Like I love the street food, um, and hopefully no mosquitoes.
All right. Next question will be, what did you want to be at 10 years old?
When was I 10 years old? I don't remember. 10 years. What grade is that?
I would
I'm
say
probably a
maybe
football
that's
player.
probably like fifth grade.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to be a football player when I grow up. Now I kind of want to be a minion when I grow up.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work, but
I
we'll
don't either.
see.
But yeah, no, for me, football is just everything for me.
Gotcha. Next is, what would be your spirit animal?
The Wida. I know it's not an animal, but
I mean, if you want it to be a spirit animal, spirit object, then a
yeah.
guida can be that.
I remember as a kid, I always loved the Black Panther. I don't know why,
Mm.
but yeah, Black Panther. But yeah, spirit instrument, Wait, hands down,
All
scrappy,
right.
feisty,
I
kind of
like that.
can do its own thing, has its own rules. Yeah, that's kind of me.
All right. Next is partner work or footwork.
Footwork is a curse word to me. So partner movement, body
Mm,
movement,
I like that.
movement.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna talk about that for a second.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
um, oh, well, we can keep going with the questions. We can go.
I got you. So after we finish the questions, we'll definitely get into that for sure. The
All right.
next question would be Chicago Bears or Green Bay Packers.
I could care less. The Bears are the most frustrating. It's just disgusting to watch because as a player, I play offense, right? Like if I like defense, I would love the Bears. The Bears have given me shitty offense basically since they were in the Super Bowl. They had a couple good years, but just watching their offense now, it's just unbearable. It's terrible football. I can't watch that.
My God. So I'm assuming this is the Green. It's going to Green Bay at this point.
I would prefer to watch Green Bay over the Bears 100%.
All right. Next would be three people that are most influential to you at this point.
Man, my mother, my grandmother, um, and probably just some coaches.
A special talent that many wouldn't know.
I can cook.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
For
I'm
many who
not
don't.
John. Shout out to John Polanski. He throws some dishes on there like shit.
Okay.
I mean, Chloe, you know what I'm saying? Chloe, you messed up. I might have to go over there and move to New Orleans. If you don't, I'll be his dance partner. But yeah, I like cooking. Yeah, humanitarian, man. I care about people. I care about you know equality, doing what's right, things like that. I'm a feminist. You know,
Okay.
now that I understand what that word means, I never knew what that word meant. I always thought a feminist was like a woman that just I can do it by myself. I don't need a man. Blah, 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 F you, F this, that.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean that's not a feminist? When somebody once told me, she was like, you're a feminist, right? I was like, what? So yeah, no, yeah, I don't get down with all that inequality and all that nonsense So I love seeing women musicians. I love seeing women DJs. I love seeing women coaches. I love that shit because it's just the stereotype that this is a man's job. Why? Says who?
I mean, for example, Jeannie Buss. We have Becky Hammond with the Spurs.
All right.
I mean, honestly, I definitely appreciate that because especially in sports or just corporate level or whatever, women are truly having an impact, have been making an impact, and are continue making an impact.
Right. Right. Now, again, if it comes to who's going to be more able to pick up a house, well, yeah, obviously, more than likely it's going to be the guy. But if it comes to like brain power and just creative thinking and things like that, who cares? What difference does it make that the person's a woman? So like when I'm not really in the like corporate America, but I guess it still goes on to this day, where a woman will have the same job position but make less just because she's a woman, and that blew my mind. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, how is that even possible? Who cares? But I guess it's a thing in the world, and that's just there's a reason why I'm not involved in that because that would not be okay. I don't give a crap if I'm talking to a CEO or not. I'm like, bro, you can't do that. We're not doing that. Nope.
I definitely understand. And our last question would be: if you were on an island, what are three things that you would have with you?
I mean, does food count?
Absolutely.
There's gonna be food. Demon knows this. I'm gonna have my water. Trying to look around the room.
So you would have said football.
Well, I was gonna say I gotta have Wi-Fi, man. I need to be able to watch my games, or at least the app on the phone where I can check scores. Red Zone, maybe. I mean, I have to. It's just
NFL Red Zone.
yeah, I get a little moody when I don't know what's going on with the sports.
And at least before we go, so who is your team currently at this point?
I do not have one, and it is best for my
Oh,
standing. So the reason why I don't have one, 95, I'm a huge Knicks fan. I got tired of the Bulls because all they do is win. They just won and they beat everybody. That's just pissing me off. But the Knicks stood up to him always. And the
Yeah.
Knicks play basketball the way I like. So basketball is my worst sport. Like if you ever saw me play basketball, you think, oh, this dude never played a sport in his life because I'm so used to grabbing onto a ball and running with it. You can't do that in basketball. So, but the Knicks they play defense, and that's basically all I was good for. That was my role. When we would play basketball, just find the quickest, fastest dude and just shut him down. Okay, cool, I got that. Shooting, no. Dribble, absolutely not. So the Knicks will just play defense, and they would stand up to the Bulls and they would just push them down. And I like that. So the Knicks were my team in the '95, and then I remember the gosh darn Pacers, man. Miller, how you gonna score 8 points in 3 seconds or something like that? Come on, man, pushing people. So anyway, so I will never forget just when they lost that series and Ewing's 8'40" self wants to do a little finger roll and a hit off the back iron.
Oh
I mean,
man.
like I'm banging stuff, I'm throwing stuff, I'm mad, I'm cursing, I'm punching things, and but that carried over Monday into school. Tuesday, I'm like, yo, I gotta stop. Like this is not. I don't like who I am right now. So since the '95 Knicks, I have not had a team. I go for my fantasy team. I do fantasy, so I care more about my people that are on my team. And again, it's bad enough when they don't do what they're supposed to do, or score 150 points each person. So it's just best that I don't have a team.
I definitely
I
understand.
watch as a fan.
All right, that's perfect. And again, thank you again for taking the time out to do this segment. Because again, I think it really helps and allows myself and the audience to get a little more better understanding of who you are, just besides the dancing.
Right. Right.
And at
Yeah.
least now we can transition into, we were talking earlier during that segment was the topic of footwork. And I definitely think now it helps me transition into kind of fast forwarding into the present and understanding like what really, as you as an educator, as an instructor, as an educator, and really have a position of authority in this community, I really would love that input of understanding what is your feeling on the topic of footwork.
All right. So I think we need to define footwork, because now apparently, footwork means your basic step. I don't know when that started, because at least within bachata industry wise, for years, footwork was always the equivalent of shines for salsa. So now people are twisting it. No, footwork means your basic step. However you want to word it, I could care less. You call it sprinkles. I don't give a shit what you call it. Right. So with anytime you want to learn a new language, let's say you're a teenager. Oh, teach me this language, teach me that language. What's usually the first things people want to learn? Do they want to learn grammar, or they want to learn the bad words?
Yeah, absolutely. The bad.
They want to learn. So I can say, whatever. You teach somebody 5 bad words in, who knows, Hebrew. There we go. Teach 5 bad words in Hebrew. And so all you do is you just say these words. Do you really know how to speak Hebrew, or do you just know the bad words? Right. And you're the cool kid if you swear, at a young age. So to me, footwork / shines. Should be. I appreciate that, Rodney. I agree too, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So footwork is a part of the dance, yes, but it is not the crazy that we see. Sure, there are some people that do that, absolutely. But I tell people, for every one that you see doing that, I can show you videos of 50 other people that don't do that. So it is the seasoning that you put on the steak, or the seasoning that you put in your salad, or whatever you're eating. But if you put too much of that, you ruin the food. So and again, it's what sells. So it's good for business. Totally get it. So people have 1,000 footwork patterns that they can remember, but can't move their hips. They don't know how to partner dance. So footwork is one of the last things. Oh, I'm hitting this. Footwork is one of the last things that I'll teach, because I feel that musicality and movement are so much harder to really understand and apply within the tempo of the music and without interrupting your partner's flow. So I teach that first before I get to footwork. And it's I feel that the system is flawed, because everybody just wants to go to the cool stuff. And again, I get it. You can see it. It shines. It sparkles. Great. I want to learn that. Great. But you still need to learn how to count. Like you got to count one to. You still need to learn your numbers. You still need to
Yes.
learn addition, subtraction. Then we go to multiplication, division. Then we go to whatever geometry, algebra, pre-calc. Then we get into all that stuff. So for me, the word footwork / shines it's like a curse word, man. It's like I don't even want to talk about that because there's so many other things that are more important. Okay, here's another thing that I do. I made this YouTube video a long time ago. Let's say an 8 count of footwork, right? An 8 count footwork pattern.
Yeah.
In real life to music, about how long does that take?
Less than 15 seconds.
I'll give you 5 seconds. It's 1, 2, 5.
Well, you're also depending on the beats per minute, depending on the song.
True.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you go to 15 seconds, that's a slow song. So anyway,
Yeah.
okay. But cool. I'll give you 15 seconds. That's a long ass 8 count. But
Yeah.
I'll give you 15 seconds. And let's say, 5 footwork patterns. Oh, geez, here we go with the math. Shit. Let's say we'll go 4 footwork patterns, 15, 30. So, a minute, 4 cool 15-second footwork patterns. So, a minute of footwork. The song is 4 minutes. What are you doing with those other 3 minutes? You know what I mean? Are you just recycling footwork over and over and over again? Or no, you have to actually dance with another human being. So what's more important? Like, what's the ratio? Footwork, this much footwork to this much, partner work and body, and body movement and just, whatever. So I'm teaching the main thing. The footwork is the little, the desserts, the cupcake, your ice cream at the end of the meal. They just put the cherry on top. That's been my philosophy. That's my teaching philosophy.
No, absolutely. And I think, again, that deserves and it's warranted and valid because I think, again, over the years, when we realized, too, when it came to bachata, we've always had the Raulins, the Joveras, the Frankie, the different Anthony Santos, and many artists with bachata music stemming from the 80s into the 90s. And then you saw the influx of Extreme and then Aventura. So musically, it's always been evolving.
Right.
But I think to the biggest, a really big issue over the years was that many people, like you said, saw the sparkle and the glitz and glamour of things like sensual.
Right.
And many misinformed and miseducated people started saying this is bachata.
Right.
Because, again, it was an attention grabber. It was something like, wow, these people are dancing in this way, in this fluidity, and this connection. Wow, this is amazing. Tell me more about this. And I think, too, a lot of teachers lack the knowledge themselves to truly educate their students on truly what bachata is as a whole.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I mean, again, I think everybody's in it for their own reason. Like some people, they need to get away. Some people, this is their outlet. So again, within the industry, some people need to do it this is how they pay their rent. So
yeah.
Am I going to sit here and educate people that don't want to be educated, or am I just going to give them what they want? Well, so I think it all depends on everybody's situation. For me, because I don't depend on bachata, I guess, because my true passion is coaching and working with the youth and helping kids. Whether I teach bachata or not, to me, is really irrelevant. I'll help those that want the help. I've been an open door since day one. If anybody sends me messages, hey, ask me about this, I answer it. And it's really funny because people will send me messages and I'll reply and they're like, oh wow, thank you so much for taking the time to reply. Like I didn't reply. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like you asked me a question. Why wouldn't I answer it? Like what kind of people are you dealing with? But this is a thing. Oh, it's a thing.
Oh, it is. It is. It is.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry to really cut you off, but you said something so profound because, again, I think that really is the humanity aspect lacks. And the humility. Because many artists over the years, no matter how many times they've been able to travel the world and such, again, they are human beings. And realizing that some people get to a point that it turns into it's about me and anyone else that supports me or anything they will work on my time. And realizing just a simple measure of what you did of replying back in an efficient time, that does mean a lot to people.
How about showing up to your workshop on time?
Oh,
How
and
about
that is a question I was leading into before we even get to the present day. Was this is something I definitely wanted to know from you from all the years of teaching, and of course you've seen some great things.
that?
What have really been the things that have irked you the most? And I know you probably have talked about some of them, but coming and the reason I would love to know this is because I've seen over the years is that with your really vast or mass knowledge of bachata music and understanding body movement and understanding foot placements and etc. I mean, I know you've been to many congresses and events over the years. You were there when bachata really was in a side room with a, like you said, a Bluetooth, and
Hey,
now you have festivals that are solely dedicated to it.
well, they still do that. I'm just letting you know, like there's still segregation.
And that's
Yeah.
something really too for me. I've always wanted to know from you because I've been able to talk to you, but not as much. Is really knowing over the years what have really been the major concerns for you when it comes to bachata.
Again, just not teaching people how to dance, not teaching people how to create. Um, one of my biggest things is that again, I feel that the teaching system within the bachata scene is the same thing as the American school system. I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to teach it to you really fast, not really get into details. You're going to remember it. You're going to take a test, and we're going to move on to something completely different. So like uh, everybody has that family member. Everybody knows people that get straight A's and they're in honors classes and 4.9 million GPA, but critical thinking. What? You're getting an A in Spanish, but when somebody says "Hola, cómo estás," that means hi, right? Like, how do you not know that? You
Mm-hmm.
know. So it's so the way that people are taught in dance studios, most, from my opinion, from what I've seen over the years, is that there's just here's a turn pattern, remember it, but like there's no learning that goes on. You can only remember so many turn patterns. So they're not really teaching you how to dance. They're teaching you how to remember. They're teaching you how to. You're counting the song rather than feeling the song, rather than changing the way you're dancing musically with all the different breaks and all the different changes that the music is doing, all the tools the music is giving you to play with. You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like the music completely.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. A lot of people don't even need music. They could. I always made a joke that if Eddie Torres ever made a bachata track with his voice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you could really play that in a social, and people could still dance and do their routines to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, for me, when I'm dancing, like you dance to the music, you dance to the feeling. So um, so that's one of the things. Like I said, the people are not taught to create because when you tell them, all right, now the 16 count footwork, turn pattern, whatever is done, now freestyle. And the students, what do I do? You freestyle. Well, like how? What do you want me to do? Like, do whatever.
Exactly. It's called freestyle.
Yeah, like, what? So I would hope that more people teach people how to connect Lego pieces, how to connect the dots, how to connect individual four counts rather than, just going blowing through the whole turn pattern sequence and then not having any idea what to do after that. Because all it is a bunch of 4 count Lego pieces, put together in a certain order. But instead of going A, B, C, D, you can go D, A, D, A, B, B, C, C, A. It's the same, it's the same things, but can it go in a different order? Well, teach your students how to do that. Teach them how to think. Show them each individual part, play the music, step back, and watch them put it in their own order rather than it has to go A, B, C, D. You're not building dancers that way. You're building robots.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely agree with that because again, and like you say, you as a dancer, you can go into events and you can tell when people are literally counting, and then you have to ask yourself, do they even know the music? Did they even listen to the song, or did they just say, "Hey, I'm gonna choose a song and see how it goes"?
You
And I
can
think that's really where you can tell the difference.
you can see them kind of
Yeah.
like you know exactly what number they're on. They're counting. And
And
again, I did that. I was that person. I'm cool with that. I still count to this day, but I'm also able to hear the music and feel the music also because of my understanding of what the music is doing. So, I don't, too many people depend on the, like, that is their lifeline, is those numbers, so
mm,
I just try to break people free from that. It's okay to use numbers, but let the instruments and the rhythms move you and tell you what to do and when to do it.
gotcha.
You know,
And really now, before we get into the present, I really wanted to know was throughout your many years of teaching and going to different events and festivals, what are some of your favorite congresses or socials you've been to throughout the years that you truly miss during these times?
my favorite ones, and again, this isn't to knock any of the other ones. It's just
Absolutely.
I love basically everything on the East Coast. I'm just at heart, I feel I'm just the East Coast kind of vibe type person. I love Bachata Paradise, so that's the one in Las Terrenas.
Yes.
Bachata Paradise. So the Baltimore Festival, love it. I enjoy going to DC. One of some of my favorite memories, man, in DC. Again, just playing in the Dominican room. But when you're around a lot of the people that grew up with that music and just a lot of the East Coast just ratchet,
Yeah.
oh man, I love that. I love that. Goodness gracious. New Mexico. New Mexico is
Mm.
one of my favorite. The New Mexico Latin Dance Festival. That's one of my favorite ones because of the community, the organization. Like they really are there for the people. They really listen to the people, and it's really such just a close community feeling. Love the Bay. Rodney's event in the Bay before it transferred over. Like Rodney doesn't give a shit. Rodney, like, this is it's my event, and I'm going to throw my party the way I want to throw my party. So and I love it. So I enjoy Rodney's. Oh gosh, hold on. So I know this one. Yeah, one's a DR. I love New Orleans. I love New Orleans. Um, uh, Pittsburgh. Well, yeah. So it's again smaller scale. Pittsburgh. For the love of bachata, JT. Because again, it's about the community and basically any event where the people. Oh, Elizondo, Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. We
Mich-
definitely have a good time there, especially in the artist room.
yeah, because like so me and George have the same birthday, by the way, just
Wow.
January,
Okay.
in case anybody out there, January 20. But it's like it, George he doesn't just not only is like get talent, but get talent that vibes with each other. You know what I mean? So it's
Yes.
like a
Oh.
team. Like so you can't buy a championship. The Yankees, the Clippers. Like the team has to have team chemistry. And then so George is really good at scouting his artists. He's really good at scouting the people that he's bringing to work for his event to make sure that his event is like just a great of a family feeling type event that the people are going to enjoy. George let me play cumbia at a bachata festival.
Mm.
And because again you got to know where. Our long story short, we're in Texas. Obviously, a lot of Mexicans like cumbia.
Yeah.
It was late at night. The room was thinning out. The traditional room was thinning out. And I see George, he's just, again, he's out walking around, checking all the rooms, making sure everybody's having a good time. George is about the people. So I said, hey, George, George, come here. I was like, hey, do you mind if I put a cumbia? Because, everybody loves cumbia. And George says, look, man, if it makes the people happy, you play cumbia.
Yep.
In the
I
music
can
room.
see him saying that.
And I said, that's all I needed to say. Boop, cumbia, floor. You know what I mean?
Because you understand, and that's the thing too. I think besides being a teacher or instructor, you being the DJ, I
yeah.
think that's really been amazing because it really shows your musically sound mind. And like, because you can say, I love music and I know, but to be able to recognize what your audience feeds off of,
Right.
I think that's definitely a talent.
And so it's just what absolutely blows my mind is that a lot of people grew up with salsa, bachata, merengue, cumbia, whatever. But then when you go to a festival, all of a sudden it's not okay to play merengue. It's not okay to play, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, why not? You like the music. So you telling me Georgette, you telling me Fausto, you telling me Alex and Desiree don't like merengue? Are you kidding me? They love that shit. When you play it, the room gets hype. Why don't we play it? Because merengue is the redheaded stepchild in most bachata events, which is again, it's just like it
I don't know
doesn't.
why. I don't know why.
True story. I once heard a Dominican dude say this. I like merengue at the house party, at the graduation party, in the backyard, at the club. I don't like merengue at the bachata festival.
What?
It doesn't make it does not make sense. If you like food in the bedroom, you like food outside in the grass, you like food in the kitchen, you like food in the car. Like, well, it doesn't make sense. Green eggs and ham. That's what I felt like I was doing right there.
I like the wordplay,
You know,
but
but it's just like,
wow. I mean, and that's the thing. And you said something so valuable and that I've heard for years, or in a way haven't heard for years, was merengue. And I think I really don't understand. Like people love it in a certain setting, but when you're in a setting that I mean, it should be celebrated at a festival, a dance festival, especially a bachata festival. It's like, and then people just treat it like, all right, just play that one song and then just go back to where you were. I mean, like, I guess people are losing touch of what merengue truly is about.
well, one, I think people think the dance is easy, and I would strongly disagree with that. Why? First, because nobody marches 1, 2, 1, 2,
Yeah.
right? But also with merengue, like there are quote unquote, there's no set turn patterns. I mean, of course you can come up with a turn pattern, but like there's, I guess people would say less technique or it's easy or whatever. But for merengue, you have to create for 4 minutes, like
Yeah.
because again, there's no patterns like salsa or this, you know what I mean? Again, sure there are, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to create, and that's hard to do without boring your partner. I need to be entertaining in this dance, and really, I can just do whatever I want. But people are not trained to think like that. They're trained to be told. People need to be told, I need to turn myself, then I need to turn my partner, then I got to do this, then I got to do that. And if they're not told exactly what to do, they have no idea what to do.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And now kind of helps me transition now into really understanding your present day of, with everybody going through this COVID-19 situation, our dance community just being hit rapidly, but slowly things are kind of, in a sense, certain people now are creating events, whether it be safe or unsafely,
Right.
but you kind of seeing the pockets of different clusters of certain people trying to revive back the scene. And for me, you have talked also privately, realizing that for people like us, this quarantine has helped us be more self-reflecting and really take into account what's really important.
Right.
So my question before we really kind of conclude things is understanding from really the quarantine beginnings until now currently, how has it helped you as a person? And really, what do you see for your future as a bachata instructor?
So the people that actually really know me know that like the only difference is that I'm not traveling, that's how I make my money, so I'm not working, but I'm an introvert. I kind of stay to myself. I don't really go out. I don't really do much. So I forget a lot of times. It's like, oh shit, we're in quarantine right now. I forgot about that. Like, we're in a pandemic. I forget all the time because it really hasn't affected me at all. Minus the, okay, well now I have no income. This is awesome. But I use this time really to, because, again, going back into sports and with me coaching and training, I mean, like I dove deep for about 6 months hard, and I'm still in it now, but just really understanding more about power development, sprint mechanics, how to run more efficiently, things like that, how to develop speed. And that's really all I cared about since November, once I went down that rabbit hole. But then, March, April, May, June, I was like, yo, like I can actually like do this 100%. And so that's really what I've been doing. So I personally don't think it's affected me at all. Like I'll go to a club. I don't really go to dance. I go for music, so I find a seat in the corner and I just, hey, all right. And you're watching people dance and they have a good time. For me, that's like, I have a great time. I don't need to be on the dance floor all night long, but I do need that music, and I need to sit right next to the big subwoofer. I have to.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That's something there because I know you got the people that sit to the side or just right there in front of your face. But yeah, I mean, I think too. Again, you found a sense of solace and just content of
yeah.
what because again, this quarantine for many people, it's hard to be in the house. But for yourself, you feel like you are an introvert, so it kind
Mhm.
of it works to your advantage in a sense.
It was
But
great.
but then understanding now, I mean, when things do get back into I would say, a new normal, do you really see yourself traveling a lot, or do you really feel like the online approach for now is kind of the alternative thus far?
I've been trying to retire from this stuff for years, man, for years. Um, but it's the people that keep bringing me back in, because I don't play politics. I don't believe
Yeah,
in that. It's just something that that's not for me. Um, I suck at social media, and it's whatever. But it's the people that I'll get a like right when I'm about to, like, man, forget this. I'm done. I'm just going to go back full time into sports. I'll get just a random message from a random student, like, hey, I really appreciate your musicality workshop or whatever. It really helped me hear this. I'm having so much more fun now and do. And then when I hear that, I'm like, I can't stop. Gosh darn it. So the people keep bringing me back.
yeah,
Um, and then again, I'm sure I would miss it. Again, just traveling to all the different cities and different foods. And I especially miss Europe, man. I miss Europe a lot, man. I love
mm,
it out there. So will I go back? I don't know. I have no idea. We'll see. Especially, now, if I get a gig, full-time gig training, that might take up the majority of my time. But I'm still, I'm still, even if I'm not traveling every single weekend or however many times a month, there's still, I mean, basically everything that you could want to know about bachata, I filmed a video for it. Over the last, I mean, 10 years I've been filming. We started doing videos probably 2010 of the style that I dance, of the way that I
mm-hmm.
dance now. But there's, we'll probably get to this later at the end, but, I have a musicality training course. I have a
Yep,
3-part teacher training course. And then, just over 100 and however many videos, instructional videos on movement, on partner work, on shapes, on this, on that. So basically, I mean, the learning doesn't stop for people that are out there that want to learn it. Um, I don't, who knows? I never thought I'd be where I am today. So that question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? No idea.
and
No
that
idea.
is definitely a valid point. And again, it really helps you now again towards the conclusion of understanding and realizing throughout this whole interview, seeing the growth that
Mm,
you've come from when you first started to now really being an instructor, but also having that passion for sports and athletics, and how no matter what, dance and football in a sense has always been intertwined and a part of your life. And I think honestly tonight's been a really great discussion. I can't really just call it
thank
an interview because it's just us really vibing and allowing people to share that experience with us.
you.
And again, I thank you for coming on. And at least two before we go, I would love for you if you had any last words for the audience, but also how they can contact you and reach you and probably purchase any merchandise or
Mm,
see any classes that you have available.
yeah, I appreciate it. Well, again, thanks, for having me on. It's a good time. I enjoy it when people
Thank you.
pick my brain, and we just talk. Get to know the person behind, the behind the scenes look. So to reach out to me again, just Facebook, just my name, Carlos Cinta. I have a website, ccbachata.com. And through there's different tabs. I edit music. I actually cut a song for somebody this morning, so I was like, ooh, that actually felt kind of good because
Mm,
with everything being slowed down, I haven't cut a song in a long time.
yeah.
Actually, I did it last night and sent it this morning. So there's a link. There's a tab on there on how to find all my workshops or my teachings. There's a tab on there about just photos and just all types of stuff. So ccbachata.com. CC Bachata is my Instagram. I'm not really active in terms of posting,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I mean, I get anytime I get a message, I'll automatically reply. You know, so I'll reply to anybody. I think those are the only ones that I have. too many passwords. Like I can't get into TikTok and
Yeah.
Snapchat. Just too many passwords to remember. I can't do that, you know. But yeah, I would just encourage people to be different. You know, again, to think outside the box, be yourself. There's a million teachers that look like this person. There's another million teachers that look like that person, you know. But what is going to separate you from everybody else? You know, a quote I heard from Russell Wilson, who's a quarterback for the Seahawks, is the separation is in the preparation. You know, are you taking time to master your craft? Are you taking time to, just do different things? I'm looking around for props, but I don't have any.
Yeah.
But again, that type of stuff will separate you from everybody else. Don't just go in there and do a footwork thing 100 times. Don't just go in there and teach a turn pattern. Like everybody does that. Everybody does that. And please don't look like your teacher. Again, it's
Mhm.
it's okay to incorporate some things, but take something from this person, from that person, from this person, from that person. Then make it yourself, right? So the box step is the box step, but put your own flavor on it. I don't know, a body roll is a body roll, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do to make that body roll look different? Or how could you teach it in a different way? But also, and then touching on that, teach your students how to apply all the things that they're learning in a social dance setting. Like, don't just, again, show the 1 hour footwork class, but then never show the person how to do it with holding on to another human being, because
Yeah.
it's just very different, very different. So again, my background, my mindset is always geared towards social dancing, not towards performing. So I'm always, I'm always gonna be like, well, this okay, it's cute, but how can I use this or not?
Yeah.
And so just teach people how to use things. I break a lot of the stuff down in my teacher training course. I think it's different, but very educational, is very important. And then I would also encourage people to don't be like me in the fact that don't be hard headed about social media, because again, in the world we live in now, one of my exes back in 2009 always told me people only like what's in front of their face, and because and I, you know, I was and people still for 11 years people have been telling me this, but it's just like I just don't live.
Yeah.
That's just not how I live my life. But I do understand the importance of social media. So definitely try to at least be consistent. You don't have to put things out every day, but maybe once a week. Just be relevant. The social media aspect within the dance community is very big. So I would say definitely either learn how to do it yourself, or hire somebody, or go to a college that's maybe there's some interns there. But it's super important. I need to take my own advice, but I'm just hard headed, I guess. But yeah, definitely I would encourage people to be on top of that social media game.
Absolutely. And again, I thank you for coming on. And like I tell many of my guests, this is our first interview, but it surely won't be our last. And hopefully, we can definitely have a part two to this interview, and see how you're doing later on these next few months, and just catch up with you. So again, I thank you for taking the time. I know you got football on your mind right now. Uh,
There you go. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, Carlos, I thank you so much, and I hope definitely in the future we can all kind of reunite and just find a new normal. So again, I thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everybody tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Have a safe night, and we'll definitely be in talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.